At the time of recording, Squid Game has been out for about a little over a week now. Squid Game is a South Korean survival drama series where we follow the main protagonist of the show, Sung Gi-hun, played by the famous Korean actor Lee Jong-jae.
Do you become the new front man? That's the rumor. And are you now in charge of the games? What?
Forgive me if I've butchered the names here, I am not Korean. Without going into too much detail, the show portrays Gi-hun as a struggling gambler who was picked randomly to participate in a game of life and death based on various South Korean children's games. Green light! I just want to say the AI videos have completely ruined the show, or actually maybe saved it. Spoilers for the show ahead. If you hadn't already watched it, go ahead and watch it right now. No! In Season 3, we pick up from where we left off at the end of the rebellion sequence led by Gi-hun. You can argue for why the rebellion had failed, but many viewers have placed the blame on a specific character. Kang Dae-ho was introduced to us back in Season 2 as a former Marine. This part is very important and you'll see why later on. Dae-ho is portrayed to be a man reflective of a soldier. No, not that soldier. He was inspired by Gi-hun's morals and courage and ended up being on the good guys team. This team and a few others initiated the rebellion against the frontman and his pink Hello Kitty soldiers in hopes to put an end to the games and escape the island. This plan ended up backfiring hard, and one of the main contributors was that Dae-ho, being ordered to fall back and return with more ammunition, had failed to do so due to his overwhelming fear. Consequently, the entire rebellion had gotten wiped out with only Gi-hun left alive. In Season 3, Gi-hun's spirit was completely and utterly crushed. Not only did he lose members of the rebellion, but he also had to witness his best friend being killed right in front of his eyes. With very little to live for, Gi-hun enters a catatonic state. This was until Park Yong-sik spilled the beans about what he actually saw. Gi-hun learns that Dae-ho, at the most critical time of the rebellion, broke down in fear and failed to carry out his mission. Hatred had sparked in Gi-hun's eyes, pointing towards Dae-ho and giving himself another reason to live, that is, to take revenge. In the next game that was played, at the mercy of Gi-hun, Dae-ho confesses that he has never been in the Marines and that his tattoo was fake.
It's fake! That's what it is.
Saying that he only lied so that he could be a part of the protagonist's team. I really love the guilt and fear portrayed by Dae-ho's character here. I think the actor did a really good job showing how much of a coward Dae-ho really is. At this point, many viewers had also grown the same hatred towards Dae-ho for ultimately failing his comrades, which led to their deaths all because of his lies. He was seen as selfish, a liar, and a coward by pretty much everyone around him as well as the viewers. But it is for this very point that I think Dae-ho is the most misunderstood and tragic character in the series. See, Dae-ho had always been a coward and a liar from the very beginning. This is evident in Season 2 where Dae-ho was doing exceptionally well in the game of Gongji, a game played primarily and traditionally by girls. This made sense as it would be pretty uncommon for a soldier to be good at this, therefore confirming the fact that he was never really a soldier like he claimed to be. In fact, he was just a normal guy unfortunate enough to be trapped in these terrifying games. Dae-ho, despite or maybe because of his flaws, is only human. Just like the rest of us, he did what he thought was right to survive. And just like anybody else who hasn't been in the army, would also freeze when faced with such situations. When faced with a situation where your life would potentially be lost, most of us would run and hide just like Daiho did. The reasons Daiho initially joined in with the rebellion could maybe be because he had genuine intentions to stop the games, or it could be because he felt like he needed to since he lied about being in the Marines, or maybe it could even be that he felt safer with the team than he would alone. At the end of the day, Daiho was the most accurate representation of the average person placed in that situation. It is also worth mentioning that some people have pointed out the fact that the English subtitles were wrongfully translated. It was mentioned that the actual line said by Daiho wasn't that he was never in the Marines, but rather that he was a social service personnel and that he had never fired a gun. With cultural context, I think this makes sense as it is mandatory for every South Korean man between the ages of 18 and 35 to serve in the military for a minimum of 2 years. I don't think this really changes much though, because at the end of the day he was still a liar and a coward at the very end. Daiho was just a normal person and was just as much a victim as everyone else who was scared for his life, trying his best to survive and seeking protection from people braver than himself. Deep down, Gi-hun knew this, as the moment Daiho's life had faded, he acknowledges that it was all his fault, shifting the blame from Daiho to himself. It was his rage and grief that blinded him from seeing this. Therefore, I think Daiho is the most tragic and misunderstood character in the series. That's it for the video. Let me know what I've missed, what you think about the character, and whether or not the hate was justified. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be picking one random viewer to do an AI video of us kissing.